Our next guest, we're just going right into our guest, is friend of the shows. Obviously, he is milking the fact that. Wow, you're just gonna leave him hanging, huh?
I was gonna stay like this the entire show. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Obviously, he is very milking this good luck. We're good luck charms to them. They have the women's basketball team. Joe Schwartz, Joe Ratty, Joe Natty, assistant coach for women's basketball. They have the longest active winning streak in women's college basketball, and I like to think that we're a big part of that.
Don't look now.
All right, there's a reason why you're seeing a lot more of him, because they have not lost on the show.
No, undefeated.
He did not come on the show before the season started. They lost.
And we have not shied away from it.
We have not. We are embracing it. There's no jinxes here, baby. We are locked into it, ready to go. Y'all had a tough one. You had a challenging one in Ole Miss.
Yeah.
You ended up winning the game, not by the gaudy numbers that y'all had been winning games by, but I think that's good for the team in the long run. Yeah. What did you learn from the team after the 11-point victory in Ole Miss?
Well, going into that game, we actually talked about the past 2 years that we've played them, we hadn't beat them by double figures. Obviously, the goal wasn't to go beat them by double figures. The goal was just to win the game. But I think seeing that we were able to get out to a big lead, we go up 13 at half. We still gave up too many points in the first half. We were getting killed in the paint. And at halftime, Coach said, let's try and get in the bonus early, get to the foul line. And I don't know what didn't register with our girls, but it kind of was the opposite. They got to the bonus quick. They got to the foul line, shot 17 free throws in the third quarter. Ole Miss isn't a great free throw shooting team, but as we saw Sunday, every team that we play, we're going to get their best shot. So Ole Miss, they're scrappy, they play hard, and they shot way above their free throw percentage on the year. And I think a lot of that has to do with I know I was hearing the tail end of y'all talking about baseball, that target on your back. You're going to get everyone's best shot, whether you're number 1 in the country, number 7 for 9 weeks in a row, or you're unranked. If you've got those 3 letters.
I felt like a little dick. Y'all are still number 7.
Yeah.
Who lost in front of LSU?
NC State lost to Virginia Tech, but we beat Virginia Tech by 20, so we're still behind.
Holding firm.
Yeah. So, hey, 7. Give us whatever ranking seed, whatever.
Gonna play them eventually.
But when you have LSU on your jersey, I think there's a level of respect from opposing teams, but at the same time, they want to beat you. And I think we saw that against Ole Miss. I think this year in our 3 road games, we've set attendance records for their team. And I think that says a lot about what we've built here at LSU, what Coach Mulkey's done to bring relevance to this program. I think it's you tip your cap to our players, Angel, Flage, Haley. And Coach was telling the team this today, and I thought it was real interesting. We're not one-dimensional. There's not just one player that fans are coming to see. Everyone on our roster has some sort of connection to a fan in that arena. So whether we're at Ole Miss, whether we're at Auburn this weekend, wherever we go this year, you can count on the opposing team trying to fill their stands. So I think you've got to be ready for every team's best punch, and we took that from Ole Miss. I mean, that was the best game I think Ole Miss has played in a while. Their coach even came out and said, like, LSU's a show, and Ole Miss kind of got lost in the show. They were playing hard, but boom, they cut it to single digits, and just like that, we're back up 15, 16 points. And there's no doubt we can score the ball. I think we've showed that. I really don't think we have anyone that's selfish on our team. We've got some kids that do a lot of really good things, and then there's some things that we need to work on. But
what are some of those things?
I think turning the ball over is a big thing, especially coming from our guards. We're not hitting players when they're open when they're open. You got to get them the ball quick, especially in this league when you've got good post defenders, when you've got quick, tall, lanky wing defenders. You've got to be able to deliver passes when players are open. And I think the other thing is just defense. It's not what you want to hear as a player, but our defense isn't where it needs to be right now. We're trying to hold teams under 70, and we're giving up too many points. Now, we've got a tough one with A&M on tomorrow.
At home.
At home.
Tomorrow at home. What is the on TV?
It's actually not.
It's not on TV.
This is a Network Plus game, I think.
Well, you mentioned TV. It's very obvious, like, the NIL thing, I think, across the really big schools on the men's side is kind of a wash. I think we can all sit here and agree with that. When it comes to the NIL situation on the women's side, there is no doubt about it. LSU is on the short list of schools you'll think about, right? Mm-hmm. And the attention that it draws to it, and how you just mentioned, LSU is a show right now, especially in women's basketball, right? When you were here last, men's too, they're doing it 2-0. When you were here last,
I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah, when we were here last, you talked about those underclassmen having to step up, and they're getting playing time a lot earlier in the year, like meaningful playing time a lot earlier in the year than before. Scale of 1 to 10, if you can kind of explain, where would you see the confidence level on the underclassmen stepping into such a bigger stage than they've ever really been in playing in their life?
We've got one freshman in particular whose confidence is probably at an all-time high at all times.
I got your ankles over here.
Yeah, some of the stuff that Michaela Williams did in that Ole Miss game, and it's not just on the offensive end. Yeah, the offensive end is where all the highlights come from, but leading up to that game, Coach Mulkey challenged more players on our team to take charges. Well, Michaela Williams took a charge in that game, her first one of her college career. But, yeah, the audacity to pull up on a 3-on-0 and shoot a 3 in transition.
She pulled a Timo Cruz from Coach Carter.
And she made it.
Yeah.
Now
Timo did too, didn't he?
Yes.
Now, to her defense, Angel and Flage were running the floor, so if she misses it, we probably still get the rebound. But I haven't seen that since Coach Carter.
A movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not something you take the layup in that situation. But she was feeling it. She was feeling it from 3. She made a girl fall all the way to Tupelo. I mean, that was disgusting. I was like, oh, she for sure pushed off or tripped or whatever. But I mean, that was one of the more impressive plays I've seen by one of our players since I've been at LSU.
So y'all got A&M tomorrow night.
Yep.
At LSU, SEC Network Plus, 7:30 game in the PMAC. What challenges does A&M bring to you?
So interesting. Something's got to give. We lead the nation in scoring, a little over 90, either 93 or 94 a game.
Nice.
I think right over 94 a game.
Solid.
Average.
A&M leads the nation in defense.
Right, giving up how many?
They're giving up a little under 50 a game.
Okay.
So
the unstoppable object and the immovable.
I think that's right. I think you did that right.
Maybe backwards. Don't quote me.
It sounded good.
Baseball show.
Sounded good. Yeah.
Newton's third law.
Now A&M's offense isn't
That's not what that was.
Isn't as good as it has been in the years past, but it's a lot better. They've got some transfers. They got a big-time transfer from Oregon, point guard, and then they've got a transfer from Auburn, who was a post player at Auburn, but now is playing a lot of the 3. So it's going to probably present a little bit of a challenge.
But y'all have big guards too, though.
Yeah.
Flage is a pretty big guard,
Yeah.
right? Maybe not as far as like, you know.
Yeah, but she's
tall, right?
She's tall, long. She can hang.
Her improvement from year 1 to year 2 has been unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. The game has slowed down so well for her.
You can tell.
And it's fun to watch because some of the stuff last year, you're just like, God, she's got to get off the court. And now it's like, God, we don't have a reason to take her off the court. And back to what Jared was talking about, confidence, like we've got to keep putting these younger kids, these freshmen in big minutes. I thought Del Rosario came in against Ole Miss and gave us some great minutes. Janae Kent came in right before the half, and We got to stop on an inbounds play, and that's big right there. I mean, it's you break down little things in games. It's a 13-point game with 3 or 4 seconds left. We had to pull either Poa or Haley out because they had already had 2 fouls, and coach is like, I don't want to pick up their 3rd foul right there. So you put Janae in. If Ole Miss hits a 3 right there, they get all the momentum going into the half, but you get a stop. You go in the locker room up 13. I mean, that's a big difference right there. So I think the confidence is growing for a lot of these kids, and it's cool to see as a collective unit of freshmen. You've got a leader in Michaela who is bringing these freshmen with her, and these freshmen are like, oh, well, if Michaela can do this, then why can't I do it? And that's contagious. And then as an older kid on the team, an upperclassman, you look down and you're like, oh, well, our freshmen are doing this. Our freshmen are getting extra shots in the gym. Our freshmen are trying to learn. And then you're like, all right, well, we run our certain offense, high-low offense, get it to Angel at the high post, and she dumps it down to Aaliyah. And in the film room, coach is like, Angel, why did you pass Aaliyah the ball there? Because, honestly, 12 feet outside the paint, Aaliyah's probably not going to do anything with it, and Angel says, I want to build her confidence. So confidence, in my opinion, is very contagious, and when you're using it in the right way, it feeds, and that energy just gets better and better throughout the game, and that translates throughout the season. And then you look up late February, early March, and everyone's confident you're playing your best ball and you're ready to make a run in the tournament.
The game tomorrow is not nationally televised. You'll have a bunch of nationally televised games. Obviously, the defensive why are you laughing at me? Why you giggle? Why are you giggling at me?
There's a joke that was made on Twitter that I just saw.
Oh.
I won't say it out loud.
We can't share with the class?
No.
Okay, don't share with the class.
I'll share it off air.
Yeah. Obviously, y'all are playing a team that's going to try to make you play sloppy, right? They're going to try to put you in a position where get you out of your game, frustrate you,
First
do those
bad
types
third quarter
of
of the year.
Yeah, and I jinxed that because
good job.
I normally don't walk out of the locker room at halftime with Coach, but she grabbed me and asked me a question about something, and we're walking out, and I said, Coach, our third quarters have been great. She goes, yeah, we just got to get to the foul. And I said, we're outscoring teams by 13.1 or 13.9 in third quarters this year. She's like, well, hell, let's do that. And then I look up, and we give up a 13-point lead. But we got it back. And
it's all right. You need those things. You need those moments where you have to figure out how to get through them, right? Because there's going to be adversity. Your schedule's only going to continue to get tougher, right? You have this game, and then you have a game on Sunday. At
Auburn, ESPN game.
There you go.
So that's another nationally televised. One thing I will say, though, like you were talking about A&M, and it's probably pretty similar in football. Style of play is such an important thing that we focus on as far as personnel, and when we get into scouting reports, and I'm not going to go into crazy depth, but you start the conference season against Missouri, a team that will play you 5 out, shoot a bunch of threes, likes to go in transition, and then you got to turn around and play a team like Ole Miss, who only makes 3 threes a game, and they like to slow it down. They like to be scrappy. They like to be in the gaps when you drive. It's just completely different style of play. Well, now you play a team like A&M that's kind of a mix between the two. They don't have any deadly three-point shooters that are just going to kill you, but you got to respect them. They make 6 threes a game, and they shoot 20. So they shoot a pretty decent percentage, but 6 threes isn't going to kill you. What's going to kill you is transition defense. You're not getting back, giving up wide-open layups, and then putting teams on the foul line. And Ole Miss, that was just disgusting to see them just free throws after free throws after free throws. And you look and you're like, oh, well, were they fouls? Yeah, they were fouls. I mean, I hate to knock Anissa Mora because she's been playing great basketball, but 6 of their free throws came on 2 of her fouls. You can't foul a three-point shooter, including one with 0.4 seconds on the clock, a kid that I think was like 1 of 14 that game from the field. So just being more disciplined. And then you'll go to Auburn this weekend and play a team that's very similar, in my opinion, to A&M. They can score a little bit. They're not just going to kill you from 3. And then you got Alabama, and then you have to switch your mindset to Arkansas because they're a team that just likes to fire up threes. And then you got the big one, which we'll worry about when we get there. They've got a lot. So being able to take a group of kids and have them kind of reset each game as we're going over a scouting report, but also remember, like, hey, they might have one player that we need to guard like we guarded a certain kid on Missouri. Like the point guard from Missouri, she just wanted to get downhill, drive, and pitch. This kid from A&M, Rogers, their point guard, she's the type, if you go under a screen, she's shooting it. If she gets to her right hand, she's going all the way to the basket. So you want to force her left. Her left hand's not as strong as her right. But like I said, I mean, we play against our practice squad, our dream team. The past couple weeks, it's been Jalen Cherry and Queen Spencer, former LSU players, who are coming to make our girls better. And Coach said it like, if you can guard these kids, you can guard anyone in our conference. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just attention to detail, continuing to lock in on certain things and just keep improving. Like at the end of the day, our starting lineup's only played 5 or 6 games together. Right. So that's not an excuse, but it does give us a little bit of leeway. And something's going to give tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be. I mean, I don't know the last time we've scored in the 70s or 80s or low 80s besides Ole Miss, but we can score the ball at will, and they play really good defense. So we'll see what happens.
Switching gears a tad, right? You know, before the year started, you talked about a big question mark or a big something that y'all needed to happen was someone needs to step up to take over that role as a point guard, right? Mm-hmm. Be the facilitator, be the leader, be the captain of the team, right? Mm-hmm. Basically captain of the offense and kind of the engine that everything goes. Men's basketball, right, feels like they've kind of taken a turn for the better, right? And I think a big part of that, they've been a completely different team when they've gotten their point guard back. And Jalen Cook, is that something, I mean, as being a basketball guy, I'm sure you pay attention to that. Have you seen a big difference in that?
I have. I actually watched the second half of the game against A&M and was trying to watch a little bit last night. We had that the thing last night, but I think when
Kramer would have moved with the turtleneck.
Yeah.
Kramer with the high turtleneck.
Mm-hmm. Right, was it Burrow?
Was it Burrow?
Was it Burrow? Like it was up to like the high
white turtleneck with the suit.
Yeah, that's what he did. What it was 2 years ago. Whenever they went to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And the Cartiers.
But he didn't have the cool jacket that Burrow had with it.
But yeah, I think having a point guard and someone that you know can be your floor general, your on-court coach, it's a huge difference. And that's what we're trying to battle right now because Poa is playing great basketball right now. Haley's playing very good basketball. But it's flipping a coin who's going to be at the one, who's going to be at the off guard. And then it's been tough for us to get in a rhythm. And our transition defense has been so bad that our guards are having to get back and they're fouling. So Poa's in foul trouble here, so now Haley's got to go to the one, or Haley gets in foul trouble, and you're mixing up all these different lineup combinations. So what you'd love to see is point guard play continue to get better. I think, like I said, I don't think we have anyone selfish on our team. I think Haley's still trying to figure out when to pass, when to shoot, when to get a ball screen.
She looks like she's finding her way through it, like almost as if it wouldn't. If you didn't know and you watched the team play, like it looks like it's her first year on LSU's basketball team, where she joined a team full of elite talent, and she doesn't want to be the one to
exactly
Kobe at ISO, how she played at Louisville, where she had to. Now it feels like she's still picking her spots.
Yeah, and Coach tells her you don't need to worry about making or missing shots. Just make sure you're taking good shots, making good passes, limiting turnovers.
Let the game come to you.
And yeah, exactly. Let the game come to you, because while we do have 5 kids that can go score 25, 30 a night, it's so cool as a staff to look at a stat sheet in a media timeout or at halftime or at the end of the game, and it's like 16, 14, 18, 12, 11, 9, balanced scoring. Because as an opposing coach, if I'm looking at that, it's like, who do we try and stop? And I think that's taken a lot of pressure off Angel this year. Angel's not having to put up 35 and 20 a game. Angel's getting to I think Angel leads the nation in free throw attempts. And she's like top 5 in free throw makes, or top 10. So she's not seeing as many double teams this year, which is, I guess, a direct correlation is she's getting to the foul line more, so it's a lot of one-on-one play for her. But Angel Reese is probably our best passer on the team, so she's getting Michaela involved. When teams have to go guard Anissa, like, you've got so many options, and we still haven't figured out what our most dangerous offense is, and yet we're still leading the country in scoring. So it's going to be really, really scary once this thing really starts to click, because it's clicking right now. Like, don't get me wrong, we can score very easily, and we do it really well, but we're still leaving a lot of points out there. I mean, we went 3 or 4 minutes against Ole Miss without a bucket. So I think the biggest thing for tomorrow, and that we've been preaching, is try and start the game a little bit faster. We did a great job against Ole Miss starting the game fast from an offensive standpoint, but we're giving up way too many points to them. Like Ole Miss, they beat Alabama 55-45 the game before us, and then we give them 37 points in the first half. So it's like our defense has to get better. We're not going to be able to keep outscoring teams, but hell, if your defense isn't good, make sure your offense is really good. So,
games tomorrow at the PMAC. Do you have any special occasions? Is there any specific promo you'd like to give, or you just say, hey, you know what?
I think Red Panda was at the last home game, was she not?
Yeah, Red Panda was at the last one. I'm not sure.
When are you going to start throwing? When are you going to be the guy throwing stuff to Red
Feeding
Panda?
her the ball, assist?
Yeah, assist.
Maybe one day.
Okay.
Tomorrow, it's one of those games. It's like, I feel like students are slowly starting to trickle back into town.
I feel like they're back now, right? They start next week. It's just the week where you come a little week early.
Yeah.
So you go
that's
out,
what you used to do. Okay.
You come out, you go
out,
you go
extra
enjoy
cuts
it.
in before.
Yeah, I need to get working.
Yeah, work.
You come in, you come early, you come back a week early because, hey, the bars are popping. Bars are popping a little bit more than they had been during the holidays, and you get to enjoy it. So
good to see you.
I'd imagine, like, how was your break?
How was your break?
Did you go to winter session? Did you
Just
study?
working. Just working.
What class are you taking this fall?
How was your ski
in the
trip?
spring semester? How was
You
your
go to
ski
the
trip?
beach?
You know, it's great. How was your Christmas? What'd you get from Santa Claus? All those conversations
How many hours
happen.
are you taking this
You just
semester?
catch up. Yeah, right. And what's your major?
What's
Did
your
you decide to change?
Really getting you feet.
Where are you
buried
interning?
in, huh?
Interning is a big thing. Where are you going to intern this summer?
I can help you on the LSU baseball team.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You'll be a bat girl.
we've had tremendous crowds. That's one thing.
You put a good word in.
Like, our first year that we were here, it
All the
was
words.
like pulling teeth trying to get fans at our games, and they slowly started to show up. And then last year the fans were great, but like, you look on the stat sheet at Jacksonville, we had 12,300 fans. Like,
Right.
Missouri, we had 11,500, I think. Like, we're getting great turnouts. Now the next step, now that we're in conference play, is these games are going to be a little bit closer. Teams are a little bit better. So we need that energy to continue to get better, because there's a difference in 11,500 quiet fans and 11,500 crazy fans.
Oh, yeah.
So as our students slowly start to trickle back in, I'm excited because we've got home game Thursday, then we go on the road Sunday, and then we go on the road again Thursday. So we'll be in Alabama for 2 games. We go Alabama Sunday, or Auburn Sunday, Bama Thursday. Then we come back, and we get a home game that Sunday against Arkansas, I think, which Mike Neighbors last year, their head coach, after the game talked about how impactful our crowd was, how we must feed them something crazy or give them alcohol, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, alcohol.
It's
we don't provide it.
We don't provide it. The university does.
So silver.
Heineken Silver. Maybe if you're going out to the game tomorrow, fit right in the holster real nice. The back pockets and the pockets and the hoodies. You can pack a few in there, and they go down easy. Maybe chug a few before you go, a couple before you get in there, and then just have some.
You just get to working.
Concealed carry.
I'm kind of glad we're on the road next week. As you mentioned, that weather's going to be brutal, so students don't have to worry about having to wait outside. Maybe they might have some classes canceled next week. But the week after that, and I hate leading up to it because you got to take every game one game at a time.
But it's staring you right in the face.
Yeah, we're looking at some pretty big things for the South Carolina game, and it's something that we want the students to be involved with. We've been working with some local establishments to make sure that full day is
special.
Hype.
Day.
Yeah, special. It's
Special.
not just going to be one of those you show up at 7 and tip it off. I mean, we're talking morning, afternoon.
Yeah, kind of like a Duke UNC type thing. Go camp out and in the tents and stuff. Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. Like that, you got that one circled.
Well, before you get to that, right? This is a good way. This is a good way to kind of get reacclimated to that scene.
Yeah.
Right? Come out there early tomorrow. Yeah. Go out there, have some drinks, have some Heineken Silvers. Very light beer, 95 calories, 4% alcohol. Very easy to drink. It's going to be crisp. It's going to be cool outside.
For the ones on campus early.
Right? So you hydrate, get there early. Use this as a show out and just practice. You have to get back into the swing of things.
It's a good conversation starter.
Get some cuts in the cage.
Listen, This is how you get going. This is how you get conversations happening. Dude,